All right, so I reversed type 2 diabetes back in 2023. Back in September is when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And I did it without medications or supplements. And in that time, I've been on social media, another channel called Adrian, the Recovered Diabetic. And I've gained some traction, and there's some people who've reached out for some help. And I've been helping them out with lowering their blood sugars. I'm not a doctor. I don't prescribe anything. I can't, I'm just a regular Joe who just beat the hell out of type 2 diabetes. And I had to find my own way, what worked for me, because a lot of stuff's just compartmentalized. And a lot of the, how can I say this without getting in trouble? The mainstream, let's just call it that, they're not really too savvy on what it takes. They'd rather just treat everything with meds, some with supplements. I did mine with just dietary change and with lifestyle change. Exercise, and the diet was a big one as far as figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And how I figured that out is the biggest one. The Advocate, you guys, if you follow me, know by now, is the continuous glucose monitor. So I've been helping some people out where I actually am looking to purchase them a continuous glucose monitor. Some of these people already have some, and I'm just kind of steering them in the direction that I went. Just basically sharing my story. Excuse me, burps. I've been spurping up steak all night. But yeah, steering them in the direction of what worked for me, and also giving them a little bit of insight. Like, one of the questions today I wanted to share with you guys was that one of the people I'm helping said, I'm doing low carb. I'm eating mostly carnivore, and my blood sugars are still high, and wondering why. And then how is it that you get your blood sugar so low even though you'll eat some high carbs, right? It'll spike up. I'm going to show you guys the interface to the continuous glucose monitor and show you what I've eaten all day today and the day-to-day effects of what happens with it. And first of all, if you're not familiar with the continuous glucose monitor, it basically gives a snapshot every 5 minutes and updates 24/7. So while you're sleeping, everything, 24/7, whatever's happening, it shows you exactly what's going on. So it's good to have a continuous glucose monitor. I've call it, it's just like driving your car and all you have is a steering wheel and a gas pedal and a brake, but you have no speedometer. You have no odometer to tell you how many miles you're driving, any progress you're making, how fast you're driving. And also the biggest one is going to be the sugar contents of your body, right? If you've been eating high carbs and sugars for your whole life, think of it like a gas tank, right? You've got a full tank of gas and you keep pouring gas in there and the tank's overflowing. Better yet, it's the way I've explained it to the guy today, was let's think about your muscles basically is where blood sugars are stored from what the science says. So what's happened is it took you a long time to develop sugars in your blood, and your muscles, just think of it like the sponge that I'm holding right here, sopping drip with water, right? Just pouring, sopping with water. You empty it out, you stop eating carbs, and then next thing you know, your blood sugar goes down a little bit. You stop eating carbs, blood sugar goes down again. Notice how it's not dripping anymore, but it's still saturated. So what we have to do is we have to incorporate lessen the amount of carbs and stuff that we're eating. If you're going to go the low carb way, I know that there's vegans doing it high carb where they feed people fruit and vegetables and grains and stuff like that. Both sides work. You could do the zero carb or low carb. You could do the high carb. I chose the more carnivore way where you eat fruit, so more like paleo than carnivore. And that's how I got myself out. So and that's what I'm recommending to anybody who reaches out to me, to share with them what I did. But what's happening with me is that I've been on this low carb diet for so long that my throughout time I've spent all the sugars in my muscles. Right, your muscles are what they store the sugar there. So what's happened with me is that as soon as I eat carbs and in a certain amount of carbs, I get myself saturated, but the sponge, my muscles, they don't have that much water in them or sugar in them anymore, right? So as soon as I go and I eat some carbs and I get loaded up, yes, my blood sugar will spike a little bit, and I'll show you on the glucose monitor, but it takes me this amount of time to empty it. Whereas for the majority of you, if your muscles have been full, it's going to take you this amount of time. It's going to take you a lot of time. You've got to get that sponge dried up and emptied from all the sugars that you had stored. Hopefully this is a good presentation and idea of, you know, a symbolistic view of what the high sugars look like and what you need to do to get them out. So yeah, your muscles will store those sugars in them. And basically it's very simple. I don't know, people make it complicated so they can sell you stuff, I guess, or confuse you and sell you supplements, meds, or whatever. But really, the simplest point is when that sponge is saturated, just stop feeding the sponge anything that's any sugar, anything that converts to sugar, and then start driving your car around town. You have a full gas tank. And when you start driving that car, meaning getting some exercise, some movement, and you're not adding anything back in there, right? Just little small amounts, then your gas tank never gets full and you'll never have that stinky gasoline overflowing in your car again, representing your body. So really that's all it is to it. And you'll know what's going on with that continuous glucose monitor because that's like your odometer. That's showing you the mileage, right? That's showing you your progress. It also is showing you like a gas gauge where that sugar is. So let's jump into the interface to this continuous glucose monitor and I'll show you what I'm talking about in real time. All right, so here we are. This is the interface to the continuous glucose monitor I was telling you guys, and as usual, I'll run you through it real quick. I'm in the United States, and we do milligrams per deciliter, and this is showing a 92 milligrams of deciliter for right now, and this gray zone is the optimal glucose range, and that's where you want to stay. You want to stay within this parameter, which is 120 milligrams per deciliter to 80 milligrams per deciliter. If you can stay here, and I believe even a little bit lower, if you can get down to 70, that's even better, which I've achieved. But yeah, this is the zone there. This TIR means time in range. It means how long have I been in that time of range without getting too far out. It gives me a score, and I'm at 100%. Now, that's very difficult to achieve. I work very, very hard. I'm a content creator, you guys. I need to be, you know, the Bruce Lee. I need to be a badass, right? I have to, if I'm 100%, then that shows that I know what I'm doing. And even though I don't hit it all the time, right? So this particular scorecard, I guess you can say, is if you're anywhere from 80 to 100, you're doing really, really good, right? If you're still in the 80s, you're doing good. If you're in the 90s, you're doing excellent. If you're in 100%, you're elite. You are completely optimal. So I don't want to get people discouraged, say I can't hit 100. You don't need to hit 100. I think you all should strive for it, but you know, that's your choice there. But I wanted to show you guys last night, which I didn't really mention too much of what I ate. I mentioned that I ate refried beans with a bunch of beef tallow, and it was basically almost an entire can, like a 12-ounce can of beans, and probably about 6 tablespoons of fat. And I pulverized it all up, added the fat, mixed it all together, added some cheese for extra fats and just flavor. And that's supposed to help stop, you know, fat supposed to help stop or slow down a blood sugar spike. So this was in conjunction though with some shredded beef, with onions and bell peppers, a little bit of some yogurt for creaminess, some pico de gallo, which is onions, cilantro, tomato, and olive oil, and a couple seasonings and stuff. And I can't remember what else I put in there. You know, talking about it now, I should have probably put some cut olives in there. That would have been really tasty. But yeah, so I ate that meal, and as you guys can see, I was at 91 milligrams per deciliter, and very quickly it just started skyrocketing up all the way to 133 milligrams per deciliter. But it came down super, super fast, and this is a sign that my insulin sensitivity is working in full force. So as soon as my body recognized that we're spiking, the pancreas secreted the insulin. The insulin came and grabbed that blood sugar and neutralized it and brought it right back down to normal here very, very fast. So this is a sign when you know that you've beaten type 2 diabetes and that you're insulin sensitive, you're not insulin resistant anymore. Because if I was, which was in the beginning when I did things like this, I would notice it would jump up to 140, 150, 60, even at some points 180, and it would stay up there for almost 2-3 hours. So the rule of thumb is from the specialists is that if your blood sugar does spike, it shouldn't go up to, if you're somebody without diabetes, 140 milligrams per deciliter is what the average safe zone is, as long as it comes back down within 2 hours. If you are type 2 diabetic or insulin resistance, you can have it go up to 180. Now, this is not my advice, this is their advice. 180 is normal as long as it comes back down within 2 hours. I think that's horse shit. I think if you are type 2 diabetic, you need to strive for this kind of stuff, and you can do it. You just need to stop eating foods that's spiking your blood sugar. So the reason this is happening, right, that my blood sugar is actually going down is because, yes, I ate high carbs, but as that sponge I was talking about, guys, my sponge is almost empty. It's barely even soaked. My muscles, right, soaking up all that glycogen, all that sugar. So whenever my sponge gets saturated, it dries out very, very fast. And that's what you're going to see right here. So I thought that this was going to spike my blood sugar all night, because sometimes it does, or even half the night. But literally, it popped back up, as you guys can see here. Not very much, but then it just started scaling down. And really, all night, I had excellent, perfect blood sugars. If you guys look here, we're at the low 80s, even hitting 70s at times. So this is absolutely perfect. I mean, this is around what, 1 o'clock in the morning. I even dipped down here to, it looks like a low of 76. We did have a tiny little bump here to 90, but then it dropped down to what, 77, 76, 77. So upper 70s. And I'll take you guys all the way to the point where I woke up. I actually slept in again. Usually I get up around 5:30 or 6, but this morning I got up at 7, and I was at 7 a.m. I was at 76 milligrams per deciliter. So that's really, really, this is the optimal sign of that you've beaten type 2 diabetes like I have done. If you can get your levels down to this is normal. This took me a long time to get to, guys. And I realize that a lot of you aren't going to go as hardcore as I've gone. And, I think it's very difficult for a lot of people. I'm like full Spartan. I'm just an animal, right? I don't like having things control me, and I'm very competitive. But if you guys can get close to this, I think you're going to be doing very well. So yeah, once I woke up in the morning, I actually had a protein shake right here. As you guys can see, this was a 50-gram protein shake with a mixture, my own kind of mixture, with some like egg powder with the yolks and the egg whites in it. And I just needed to get going this morning. I was a little bit late. As you can see, this was at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. And it gave me a bump, a significant bump here, is because my stomach was empty. And one of the things I always recommend, guys, is it's better to eat your protein or your carbs or whatever, your food, because your body has to churn it. It has to digest it. Whereas liquid, it just goes in your bloodstream instantly, if that makes sense. It's already like liquefied. Your body doesn't have to work for it. It just soaks right into the sponge. So that's what happened here. As you can see, it just went up. But being that I'm insulin sensitive now and don't have insulin resistance anymore, it just came right back down. I mean, way down to 78. So yeah, as the day went on, I got kind of hungry. Really, I just kind of wanted to see today too. I didn't eat breakfast on purpose, just having that protein shake, just to see how I felt. And I was pretty damn hungry. So by the time I got home, I actually had another smoothie, this was a late log right here. It says later on. I had it about right here, more at like 1:16, 1 o'clock or so, right when I came home from work. So as you can see, it instantly again started raising my blood sugars up, but still in the optimal glucose range. And as you guys can see here, it came down relatively fast, did not stay up high. So yeah, as we were going down here for dinner, I actually had a ribeye and a half steak. I made two steaks, but Baby Boss didn't want to eat it today for some reason, so I pretty much ate half of her steak. So I had probably about a pound and a half of steak. And you guys can see it didn't really have much of a raise on my blood sugar, which is a no-brainer. It's a lot of fat and protein, right? There's hardly any carbs at all in a steak. But yeah, usually you guys, as you guys can tell, when I eat something, right, it's usually 15 to 20 minutes. You'll already start seeing a rise. Usually around 30 minutes is when it'll start peaking out, 30 to 40 minutes. So as you can see here, the steak really had no significant impact on my blood sugars. All right, this next one right here was actually this is a new protein pudding that I made. And believe it or not, it's going to sound weird. It's made out of eggs. I just scrambled up some eggs, whipped them up with some sweetener, some full fat yogurt, some cocoa powder, some vanilla extract, and then put it in the freezer for about 30 minutes to just get it all nice and basically a little more solid than watery. And it was freaking delicious. I gave it to my daughter. She ate the whole damn thing. Since she didn't eat her steak, I was like, well, let's give you dessert. And the cool thing about these desserts that I invent, guys, is like it's a meal. You know, there was so much protein in there. You could even put a scoop of protein powder in there, and you'll have like a 50-gram protein dessert. Right? It's freaking delicious. And as you guys can see, the biggest thing, I know that a lot of you guys are craving sweets and you want your desserts and stuff like that, and that's why I do what I do. I invent all kinds of stuff, cakes, cookies. I even made what is it? The chocolate Nutella strawberry Twinkies for you guys, all homemade, without all the chemicals and everything. And that's coming soon. But as you can see, this chocolate pudding that I had for dessert gave me a little bit of a rise, but not much, and pretty much stabled out. It's about almost 9 o'clock right now. I'm at 90 milligrams per deciliter. So yeah, that's a whole day of eating. That's what it looks like to be insulin sensitive. And to beat type 2 diabetes, this is what you're going to be looking for. And this is why I really, really recommend that you use the continuous glucose monitor for many months, even after. I would say, knowing what I know now over a year and a half later, I'm still learning new things on it. But I am a content creator and I fuck around with my body a lot, doing experimentation and stuff. But really, I think somebody should wear it for about a year to just get a really good idea and make sure that they get to these levels here. Now helping these individuals like I am, I don't think that they're going to need a year. I think like we can definitely we're already making a headway with it. We're getting the A1Cs down, the blood sugars down. But I think with like in a 6 month period, we're actually going to see people lose significant weight. I lost just under 50 pounds in probably about, I'm going to say about 5 months or so, 4 months. I can't remember exactly. I did a horrible job when I was going through the whole thing of documenting everything. So just kind of go off by ear. But yeah, I lost about 50 pounds and I'm guaranteeing, well, I can't guarantee anything. And again, I'm not a doctor. This is for entertainment purposes only. But these people I'm helping out, we're already seeing weight loss. We're seeing the A1C go down, seeing levels in the blood sugars. And I think we're going to get them back to normal easily within 6 months. Easily. So yeah, I'm so excited and happy to help them. And I'm happy to help you guys too if you guys so choose to. Links in the description. Check out a bunch of goodies there. But yeah, this is the evening, and I forgot to say too, this is June 6th, 2025. And yeah, we're doing some great stuff. I'm psyched. I'm so excited to help people out and to make a difference. I know a lot of you guys are confused out there, and there's just so much information. I hope that this is real data that you can see for yourself instead of hearing somebody talk about it. Hopefully I've showed you guys. And you know what I got coming soon is I'm actually going to show you my blood labs too, to show you my cholesterol and my ATL, all my levels basically, to figure out what's going on with my health, my A1C and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. That's coming in the future, and a hell of a lot more recipes. If you watch these longs, check out these long form videos. Check out the shorts. I'm starting to put in a bunch of recipes in there for you guys. And I got all kinds of small short form videos of tips and tricks to help you with type 2 diabetes, especially if you're a middle-aged male, right? Go in there, check it out. You're going to learn a lot, and hopefully I can help you guys. I mean, I'm spilling the beans and giving every information that I can think of out there so that you can get a general idea and see for yourself what it actually looks like instead of being told what it's supposed to look like. So thanks, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.